Hey, and welcome to Map 4 of TNT Final Doom Evilution. This is Wormhole, and if you've played this level, you probably already know the big secret of this one. Well, it's not even really a secret, it's kind of thrown in your face as soon as you do any kind of exploring on this level. But we'll talk about that as we get there. First, we've got to get rid of these spectres, because they'll charge at us from around the back of that rocket launcher. I do kind of like how there's like a seating area here. Like, this kind of feels like a place where you'd come and sort of chill out and wait. I assume for spaceships or whatever. Whatever the launching out of this place. We'll head up the stairs here, shoot all the enemies, and... oh, wow, just gotta be a bit careful there. That Spectre did catch me pretty nastily there. Luckily we can grab the chain gun and take down the imps here. Now, here's the thing with this level. As we make our way up and down the stairs here, the exit is really not that difficult to get to. In fact, you can get to the end of this level unintentionally without killing a single soul if you really want to. We're going to take out these chain gunners as I kind of talk about that a bit more. Grab the health. So, here's the deal with this level. You head up these stairs, you go up it through this door here, and you're like, okay, there's enemies here. Let's deal with these guys. Take care of the bony boy there, and as we make our way across the corridor there, oh wow, there's a room that's opened up behind us. So it's got a Hell Knight in it here, but if you do this on like the easier difficulties, he's not here. You can kill him, and you can exit the level. So yeah, this is not a gimmick, it's not a trick. That's the end of the level. Now, I don't know if it was intentionally designed that way, I don't know if it was a mistake, but the fact is, you can end this level in about 30 seconds if you know exactly what you're doing, and you don't have to waste a single bit of ammo. So, we're going to explore the full level though, because whenever I come to this level, I pretty much just skip right to the exit, because Wormhole's a very interesting level, and I use interesting with the air quotes, which you can't see. If you look on the right hand side here, you can see there's some little candles on the floor there. Those kind of signal that there's a secret door here. There's also one up right behind the other candle, so careful. Unfortunately, it has to be said that Wormhole's name kind of gives the suggestion that something cool is going to happen in this level, and there is a cool gimmick. We're going to be seeing that in a bit, but unfortunately, I think it's kind of executed in one of the lamest level designs in TNT, and I know that's probably going to draw some heat from someone, but that's just my opinion. This level is very bland. So take note of all this layout, by the way. It's kind of important if you've never seen this level. Head down here, shoot all the imps, take down all of these guys here. There's a few more Hell Knights that we'll have to deal with, but luckily if you could bring down these little pillars, there are some shotgun shells within. Thank you. Ooh, not thank you for that though. Yeah, there's another Hell Knight here, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take care of the imps here. So once we leave here, we are going to take care of these imps. Ow. Probably should have ducked out of the way of that. Again, Hell Knights here, but take note of the layout here, because in a bit you'll see why this level's called Wormhole. And yes, there is a very strange noise going on in the background here. Not quite sure where that is, but I assume it's just out of bounds of the level. It sounds like machinery going up and down. It's pretty cool, actually. It's probably one of the better things on this level, to be honest. So as we drop down here, we can take care of you and you. Shoot you in the face. Going to shoot these lovely imps in the face. Grab the supercharge. Now you can see here there's a gateway. And yeah, it's actually brought us back to this room. So what's the deal? Well, as you can probably notice, there are no chain gunner bodies on the floor here. So yeah, we've been teleported to a mirror image of where we were just now. Except instead of Hell Knights that we have to deal with, we just have to deal with some bony boys instead. But as you can see, the layout of this is actually identical to what we saw on the other version of the level, so that's kind of the big gimmick of this level. The fact that there are two versions of the level, both of which are slightly different in terms of textures and all that, but as you can see, this is exactly the same, with the same secret as well. It's kind of wild to me that they put the exit right at the start, and then the whole concept of this level kind of just can be completely ignored. It just seems a bit silly to me, but again, like, that's just personal opinion. As we head through this area, you can see that there are some pinkies here. There's a Hell Knight there. Just got to be careful when fighting these Hell Knights in these narrow corridors, because they will sort of get the advantage if they get too close to us. So instead of it being nice and clear here, there's just a bunch of lost souls. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to take out the lost souls and the pinky. Take care of the bony boy and his little lost soul minions. So again, I'm not against the concept of this. In fact, in theory, it should work really well, having two versions of one level, both kind of warped to be different from each other, but it just doesn't work that well here, in my opinion. I think that it doesn't help that the level here is very bland, and, you know, other than the texture changes, it kind of just feels like, you know, copy-paste. Except for this bit here, which isn't in the other area, the first starting area, but you'll kind of be glad that it isn't, because it's kind of a waste of space. This just feels like it's here for the sake of being here, and I'm always bemused by this area. Like, what's the point of it? What are we supposed to be doing with this? You can see I'm not doing too well on the ammo front here. And as you can see, there's a bunch of enemies down here, so I'm going to try and get rid of them, as many of them as I can. Gotta be careful here, because it's very easy to get trapped here. Oh wow, we are not going to have enough ammo to deal with all of these. But yeah, if you're wondering what's in this space to make this worth coming all the way out here for, the answer is not much at all. I'm looking around for any ammo, not really seeing any. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to grab the health, and I'm just going to kind of make my way back out to the starting area. Well, this version of the starting area. So as we make our way out here, there's some ammo here which we really needed. And you can see there's a bunch of pinkies through the area there. Just got to be careful for that mancubus over there. There's a few mancubus and arachnotrons in this area, making it a bit more spicy than the other one. I think there's an archvile thrown in there as well, which is pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this level design. I feel like great concept here, but it kind of falls a bit flat. Especially when this is like the big change. I want to get rid of these cacodemons. Gonna let me pass? You're still not going down, are you? Cool, excellent. We got a bunch of lost souls here. Honestly, I'm just gonna chainsaw these. Never recommend chainsawing lost souls, but in an absolute pinch, it's better than nothing. And as you can see, there's another exit and entrance into this area. Yeah. So I have no idea what the purpose of that area is. I think it's just there for the sake of being there, to be honest. There's nothing in there really worth going for unless you're going for 100% kills. You can see the Mancubus and Arachnotrons have made their way around to the top end of the room here. We've got to be a bit careful here. Don't want to get caught in that Mancubus's fire blast. So you'll notice that all the textures in this area are different from what we saw in the other one. The other one had more of a space-based feel about it, whereas this is more like a temple of some kind. I don't know. Yeah, so the Arachnotron is the Archvile's just up top there. Luckily there are some rockets here which we can make good use of. I'm going to grab this health here. So that's walking the Archvile up. Very nice. You've got to be careful there because the Archvile can wake all these enemies up in this room. But once the Archvile's been disposed of, it's not too difficult to deal with the rest of this level. And hey, it even has its own little fake exit here with a super shotgun in, which would have been useful at the start of the level, I'm not going to lie. So we'll go over this side. You can see it's just a bunch of pinkies hanging out on the staircase here. Again, it's just one of those things with this level. I think that if the level design was better, I feel like if this was like a much more interesting level, this concept would really stand up and shine. But as it stands, like the fact that the level lets you skip out after like 20-25 seconds is pretty telling in my opinion. And unfortunately, that's Wormhole, a level that in my opinion has a great concept, but kind of falls on its face in execution because it's just not that interesting, let's be honest. Probably the weakest of the TNT levels we've seen so far. It's a shame because this actually does have the potential to be a good level on paper, but in the game, I just recommend dashing for that exit and leaving this level behind. But what is interesting is that this is one of the few TNT levels that actually gets a conversion over to the PS1 version of this game. So let's have a look at that. And so immediately you can see it's a bit darker, it's a bit more brooding, it's kind of in line with all the other PS1 levels we've been seeing so far, and that's great because I think that actually works to this level's benefit. The skybox is different as well because again we're still on the Doom 2 skybox here. It doesn't have the TNT skybox, so kind of ends up feeling a bit like a Doom 2 level. But as you can see, we are getting kind of attacked by all these enemies from all the sides, so we need to just be a bit careful here. The thing is as well with these Final Doom levels, they end up taking out some of the enemies, so I can't imagine this being any more difficult than what we've experienced so far in Final Doom on PS1. As you can see, the health bonuses are still there, so they've not really taken much out of the level, and so far it's similar enemies here. A lot of pinkies, a lot of chain gunners, a lot of imps as well, a lot of bodies for us to shoot through if we want to get to that exit. And yes, it is the same thing in this version of the game. The exit is very easily accessible at the start here. And it's actually a bit easier because they don't actually put a bony boy in here. Instead they put the Nightmare Pinky in, making one of its few appearances actually in Final Doom here. So instead of going back, we'll actually just do a circle here, get rid of all these enemies on this side, and then have a look at that exit that opened up. The design of this level's a lot more open than a lot of Doom levels, but I feel it doesn't work quite as well as you'd probably want it to here. And there's the exit again. They actually make it a lot flashier in this version, which is interesting. Like, they don't want you to miss it, which isn't the worst thing in my opinion. So we're gonna shoot these chain gunners here. It's a very nasty trap, that, to be honest. If you're not expecting it, having all those chain gunners barrel down on you, especially when you've got the rocket launcher and can easily blast yourself in the face with it, trying to get rid of them. It's an interesting trap. It's probably one of the highlights of the level, to be honest. But as you can see, this is still very much the same. It's the same secrets, so we're going to be heading down this very linear corridor here to get rid of the imps. So, again, I think one of the weaknesses of this level is that it doesn't make maximum use of that wormhole idea. And with Doom, there's plenty of potential for wormholes to kind of be used in an interesting way. And having two versions of the same level is actually a really neat concept. It's just, you want the level to be fun, and I think that Doom is at its worst when you've got areas like this, really narrow spaces where combat with imps and low level enemies is just not particularly fun or engaging. I mean, this is a bit better here, but it's one of those things where if you took that corridor section there, the very narrow area with all the imps in it, and kind of put it in like someone's first WOD, you probably wouldn't feel it was too out of place. And remember, this is a retail product, so you're kind of expecting something a bit more bang for your buck, basically. Something just went crunchy crunch. So we just need to get rid of these imps here. This imp sometimes will walk up to the, like, under the ledge there, and you've got to kind of wait for it to come out. So let's see if they actually substitute the enemies here. So I've noticed that in Final Doom's levels here, they are a lot more kind of conservative with the enemy count. Like, with Doom 2 and Doom 1 on PS1, they tended to swap enemies, but they didn't do it like as much as they do in this version. It kind of feels like, because these are larger levels and because they don't really want to mess around with the levels too much, the compromise reached was, well, we're just going to take down the variety of enemies in a level. So there's a lot of imps and chain gunners on this level, but there's no Hell Knights, which kind of formed a lot of the challenge in the original version of this level. Oh wow, is that broken? Okay, no, it's not broken. Although for a second there I thought it was broken. That would have been awkward. Right, we'll go back for him later. But yeah, you can definitely tell that Final Doom, at least from what we've seen so far, kind of pushes the PS1 a bit harder in terms of hardware, and the end result is that it seems that the cuts weren't made to the levels themselves, but instead to the enemies in the levels. There's no bony boys here, and there's no Hell Knights here, and I'm going to hazard a guess that when we go into that starting area up ahead, probably not going to see any Arachnotrons and Mancubus. But we'll also find out here as well how severe the cuts were to get this level onto PS1 were, because there were a bunch of Cacodemons in here. So we got a bunch of lost souls, which is fine. There's chain gunners. I'm not seeing any Cacodemons. And I am playing on the ultraviolence difficulty here, so my guess is that this level was already kind of pushing things a bit on the PS1, and they just trimmed down the variety of enemies. Let's see if there's any up here. I mean, the lighting is really cool here, so I will give it points for that. But then again, that's the same for Doom on PS1 in general. So this room is no different, at least. Except for the fact there's no Hell Knights again. The Nightmare Pinky is a really fun enemy. I kind of wish it was used more in these PS1 levels. So we're just going to take out the lost souls at the bottom of the room there. Grab all this ammo because we'll probably be needing it if they're going to stack that room full of imps. Wow, they really didn't put any imps in there. That's interesting. So in the other version of this level, there was a bunch of Mancubus and Arachnotrons in that room. But here it just seems like they've just gone and used a bunch of Pinkies. I mean, these were here in the PC version, so I'm not overly shocked. And yeah, my suspicions were kind of correct here. They got rid of the Mancubus and the Arachnotrons here. So it kind of leaves this room feeling a bit meh. Because like the whole point of the corrupted version of this in the PC version was that you were supposed to be kind of facing harder enemies, but I guess the idea's still there, I guess. Oh wow, that's not opened up yet. See, if it were me and I would design this level, I would have put the exit here. I would have made this the like proper exit, and I would have made the fake exit the one that you see first in the original version of this level. I think that just works better. I know the switch doesn't do anything. I did try pressing it there. But this is Wormhole. It's an underwhelming level, I'm going to be honest with you. It's very hard to get enthusiastic about this one. It's, like I said at the end of the PC level, it's easily the weakest of the TNT levels we've played so far. Not awful, but it's definitely lacking in design and inspiration, and sticking the exit right at the front of the level and making it accessible to everyone kind of feels like even the designers kind of knew this wasn't going to be a great idea. I don't know. What do you think of Wormhole? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you wish there were more levels like this in Doom? And let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you very much.